Hey everyone. So I have my whiteboard, I have my marker, and I'm ready to review some things that you should already know. These are things that we did last week, yesterday, last year, and you should feel good about them, right? Here we go. Write 4 facts that go with each of these families or number bonds, right? So here's the first family. 7 is the whole thing. And inside of every 7 is a 5 and a 2. If you put a 2 and a 5 together, you get a 7. If you get a 5 and a 2 and you put them together, you still get a 7. If you take a 7 and you break it apart, you get a 2 and a 5. And if you break it apart another way, you get a 5 and a 2. I just gave you all 4 facts just by talking about them. But now I'm going to give you those same 4 facts by writing them down in like a sentence, right? Except it's a math sentence. It's an equation, and it's going to say, hey, if you take the 2 and you stick it together, part, the 2 and the 5, if you stick them together, you'll always get a 7. Wait a second. What if I take the 5 and a 2, right? So I switch them. Okay, if I take a 5 and a 2 and I stick them together, still a 7. That is the peanut butter jelly rule of addition. It does not matter which order it is. It's still a PB&J sandwich, right? You take a bite out of it, it's going to taste the same thing. You're still going to get the 7. When you're subtracting, though, it works a little different. You always start with the whole Lego set, and then you break it into pieces, right? So you always have to start with the whole thing when you're subtracting. You can't ever start with the 2 or the 5, right? You got to start with the biggest part, the whole, they'll say. So if I start with the whole and I take away, rip off, 5. So I had 7. I ripped off 5. What am I left with? Always a 2. It's never going to surprise you and be a different number. It's always going to be 2. 7 take away 5 is 2. And if I go the other way, what if I take 7 and I break off just a little tip? I break off the 2. Well, if you had 7 and you break off the little piece, then you always get the 5. These are the 4 facts that are inside of every number family. There are always going to be 2 that are adding them together. Here are the adding ones, 2 and 5, and 5 and 2. There are always 2 subtraction facts. 7 take away 5. 7 take away 2. All of the numbers, all of the answers, they all come from the fact family. So knowing that, I was wondering, could you find the 4 facts? Oops, put that near the bottom. 2 of which are going to be subtracting, and 2 of which are going to be adding for this number family. Why don't you pause the video and try to come up with the 2 addition facts first. Put the parts together to equal the whole thing. Those are the parts. I'm going to put them together both ways. It does not matter which way I put them together. I'm always going to get the whole thing. Now I want you to think about taking the whole thing and breaking off the pieces. So you're going to have the 9, and you're going to break off one of the pieces. And then you're going to have the 9, and you're going to break off the other piece. So 9 take away the big part, 6, is going to leave 3. And 9 take away the little part is going to leave 6. These are fact families, and it's also the reason why your older brothers and sisters, while your mom and dad, can do math facts so fast. They're not counting on, right? They are realizing that facts are related, and if you know you're adding, you already know you're subtracting. You just have to go the other way. 3 plus 6 is 9. Right? Thanks, guys. I'll meet you on the next slide. I got a good one for you. Problem of the day coming up.